Welcome to IBD Warrior CIRS Healer. I'm your host, Jennifer C. J. India. I think I forgot to say that in my last two videos. Remember that I am not a medical professional. If you would like to attempt anything in this episode, please consult your doctor or mental health professional first. You guys may hear a little bit of noise, and I have people driving through because they're going to be doing tree work. If that happens, I'm going to stop the video and then I'm going to come back. So if it's a choppy edit on audio and video, I apologize. This is actually take two because my dog just ran in here with, not to be graphic, the hoof of a deer. I was like, how did you get that? So anyway, if you see the dogs in the background, if you're watching on video, I'm filming in my living room. I decided to do, really different things when I brought this back, and I'm very excited about it. So let's move into the subject today, and that subject is narcissistic abusive family systems. Okay, so I was going through trauma therapy, and I had the intuitive hit to really look into sorry guys, my family dynamic. I'm sorry, you guys. My family dynamic. And I think it was because I was doing a lot of trauma therapy around it at that time with my therapist. And also my dad had just died. So I was really kind of reevaluating everything, especially about my family. And I had this hit to go on YouTube and just keep looking for family dynamic. And for some reason I had the intuitive, I don't know what I can't remember what I put it as, the not the redheaded stepchild. And if you're redheaded, we love you. So I don't mean it like that, but like, whatever, the child that's left out or the child that's left behind. I don't know what the words were, but I kept looking it up and I found the word scapegoat. And then I found two experts. There was one woman who's incredible if you look it up. And then there's Jerry Wise. His name is Jerry, Jerry, Wise, like the owl, Wise. And he really resonated with me. There was something about him. There was something about his energy. And so I became obsessed at night with his videos on YouTube, which I love offering you guys free resources, right? Because, I understand you have to pay a lot for healing IBD. One of the comments that I get a lot is, thank you for not standing behind a paywall. Thank you for giving me resources that I had no idea about. So, I'm really mindful of giving you free versus expensive, right? So you can go on YouTube and find Jerry Wise and look up narcissistic abusive family systems. But I ended up paying for his course. I think it's $600 US or $550 US. You do it over a course of months. And it opened my eyes, you guys. I was like, holy shit. This is what I have been living in. And, oh, you can see my bra. Okay, see, oh, whoops, sorry guys. This is what I've been living in and dealing with for decades. And this is why, one of the many reasons why I have IBD. And I really want to talk about that if you are in the same position I am. Both of my parents are now deceased. I have stopped talking to my family because I realized that I will never be accepted by them. I will never fit in. It is an abusive situation, which you're about to hear about. And the fascinating part, what you're going to hear about is, the people who are still around, it's almost not their fault, the way they treat me. And you're going to hear why. So Jerry Wise talks about narcissistic abusive family systems. And he says that when you're in this system, there are roles, and everyone has a role. Now, I said to myself, when I started podcasting again, I said to myself, I'm going to slow down. And I get so excited that I trip over my words. So I apologize if that happens. Jennifer, slow down. J. India, slow down. Okay, I'm slowing down. So there are roles there's many roles people fill in this family system, but for my family, I'm going to talk about 4 roles in particular. So the roles are, my dad was a narcissist and everyone had to bow to him. My mom was the absolute enabler. My sibling was a golden child and I was a scapegoat. Now I have a feeling a lot of you are in the position I'm in of being the scapegoat. And the scapegoat means that you are basically the emotional trash can of your family. And you are dumped on time and time again. And that's what it's been for me my whole life. And once I realized, you know, from Jerry Wise, what we were talking about, I said, oh my God, that's been my whole life. That's been decades. And what it is, I'm sorry guys, I ate some peanut oil last night and it's affecting my voice. But what that is being the scapegoat, you are someone who is not respected, is abused, especially verbally, and treated in a way that you don't matter a lot of the times. And that's what happened with me. My siblings' accomplishments, as let's say they were a couple small accomplishments, they were rewarded over and over and talked about. Anything that my sibling did wrong, my parents didn't care. He never got in trouble. There was a situation where my sibling did something very wrong in the past and somehow I got blamed for it. Somehow it was my fault. I was the one who took the abuse from that and the yelling from that. So that is the idea of being the scapegoat. Oftentimes with the scapegoat, your family will say incredibly disrespectful and rude things to you and don't think twice about it because they've been doing it for decades, right? So if you've just sat there, and I'm not saying it's anyone's fault, I'm not saying it's your fault, but if you just don't even know how to respond because you're a nice, lovely human being and you're a healer and they've just been saying rude shit to you for decades, yeah, I was doing the same thing. I was like, and I thought it was normal. By the way, I thought it was normal. Okay, one example was I have a master's degree and someone in my family said in front of their children, having a master's degree just means that you couldn't cut it in life and you can't get a real job. Basically, that's what he said in front of his kids. What that trains his children and his family and his wife and the whole thing is that they can treat me like the scapegoat as well. So then I started noticing that pattern. I'm like, okay, he has now taught them to treat me like a scapegoat as well, because he learned that from my parents and then that was passed down. Here's the problem, is taking a drink of water. Jerry Wise has said that he has worked with families, had them in the office, and you know, the scapegoat wants the families to listen to them and you know, realize what they're doing and how they're being treated. And Jerry Wise says it's a waste of your time, because unless that narcissistic abusive family system wants to heal and every single person wants to change and heal, it's never going to happen. They will never change. And that opened my eyes. I said, this will never change. These people are not willing to look at the problem in front of them. They are not willing to do therapy. They're not willing to do any of it. And that's, you know what, to be fair, if they don't want to keep the relationship, that's their right. You know what I mean? I can't sit there and try to change someone. And even bringing them into a therapist's office, a highly trained therapist, they can't change them, then what am I doing? So Jerry Wise in the course teaches you, if you have to remain in that family system, and there are many reasons why you have to remain in that family system. Maybe your parent is older and they're narcissistic, but you have to take care of them. It's part of the culture, right? You're Indian or you're Asian or something like that. There was someone in the course who I found interesting, because sometimes you would see comments from people, and this woman has an autistic child. She cannot find a babysitter except her narcissistic mother, so she has to keep the family relationship. So Jerry Wise teaches you how to deal with that narcissist, that golden child, that enabler, and how you kind of go through a series of exercises, and he teaches you how to respond to them in a healthy, calm way. And he's very into the idea of being calm. He's like, if you're reactive and you're screaming, which by the way I did, that was my reaction, it just goes out the door. I think in my case it actually somewhat worked, but for the most part he says it doesn't work. They just see you as a problem. They see you as, oh my gosh, why is she, having this big reaction? What's the problem? It literally goes over their head. So you trying to change these people, not going to happen if you're the scapegoat. And that's why I want to point you to those videos and that course, is because I'm not a therapist. I can't take you through that, but he can. He can take you through how to deal with all of that. The other interesting thing I found about being the scapegoat is once that family system is in place, that narcissistic abusive family system is in place, that system works for the family negatively, obviously, but you cannot change it. And the family does not want to change it. They want to stay in that narcissistic abusive family system. So that's something to think about as well, is that system actually works for them and has been working for them for decades. So fascinating. The other fascinating thing he talks about is the scapegoat. This is really interesting. The scapegoat, once you leave that family system like I did, the narcissist will find another scapegoat. And I witnessed this at an event for my family, because I was being quiet at that event, and I noticed the person who was a narcissist immediately found another scapegoat, and you could tell the person was searching around the table, and they found it. And that's really sad. I feel bad for the next person who's a scapegoat, because it's probably going to be 10 times worse. When my dad was in assisted living, he found so many scapegoats because I wasn't around, so he couldn't dump on me. So he would dump on the people in the assisted living, dump on some of the people in physical therapy, that whole thing. And, my other family just sat there and thought it was normal when it wasn't normal to treat people that way. And that was a real eye-opener for me when I said, oh, wow, these narcissists, when they don't have the scapegoat, they will look for another one, and they will find it, and they will dump on that person. So that's another reason I'm glad I got out of this cycle. So I just wanted to introduce that to you if you feel that you've been a scapegoat, because what happens, this is the most important thing I'm going to say, guys, in this video, is what Jerry Wise says is you don't even realize that being in that family system for so long, you're in survival mode all the time, that you have this underlying anxiety all the time. And unless you realize it and you've healed from it, or you are healing from it, you continue to have this underlying anxiety. And he had talked about, I believe in one video, about how people that causes IBD, IBS, all sorts of things. So when you think about, like, why do I still have IBD? I'm healing, I'm doing a good job. You may still have that underlying anxiety that you have to address. And with me, since I've addressed this, I've had people tell me who haven't seen me in months, you're a different person. You're so much calmer. And that's been an absolute godsend for me. I want this to happen for you as well. I want that underlying anxiety. If you were in a narcissistic abusive family system, I want you to start looking it up and researching it and getting help, because it's something that we suffer from until we realize what we've been through and how we've been surviving. So again, Jerry Wise is the name. Look up his videos, look up being a scapegoat on YouTube, and I guarantee you, you will find some good things. Follow me on Instagram, Free Spirit Jennifer C. Again, my account is not about IBD. It's just a fun account about being a midlife woman. And I'm about to go, hopefully, on a big trip, and you guys can follow me there. So if you want to know more about me and support me, definitely follow me there. You can email me at freespiritpodcast, that's with an S, at gmail.com. I'll answer your questions on Instagram or on email, that too. And make sure you like, you subscribe, you do all the things. Yeah, love you guys. I hope this video helped today, and sorry about my voice, and talk soon. Bye. Oh, have a green heart day.